We have a case right now that's a person that really needs to come to the United States. I want to go into the humanitarian parole B2 visa case and stuff, and just have a couple minutes talking about that. So there's a vast number of people, particularly from Afghanistan right now, who have applied for a thing called humanitarian parole. This is just permission to be able to enter the United States, similar to the parole discussion we had earlier, but just to be able to enter and then figure it out from there. Now, we've had, like, in the last month or two, 28,000 of these applications, mostly from people from Afghanistan. And from reports coming from news sources, only like 200 have been approved. So this is something that we're getting calls every day. I get emails from people from Afghanistan in particular wanting to do humanitarian parole. It's not something we actively do unless we have more work with a client or other options available. Just purely, we don't necessarily do that. But it is something that our firm partially handles depending on the case type and the facts that exist. But, you know, the opportunity to just apply for a B1, B2 tourist visa exists. Most likely you won't be able to get an interview in many countries just because they're closed, or it's going to be denied. But that option exists. It might be faster than humanitarian parole if it's proved, as opposed to humanitarian parole, which doesn't really have a timeline. It has additional fees. So you want to mention any points about what humanitarian parole is, Anya, what we're dealing with in that one particular case, without going too many details?
Yes. So humanitarian parole is an option for someone to come to the United States who otherwise, for example, inadmissible, right? Or was refused a visa, but they still need to travel for some sort of humanitarian reasons. Yes, it can be public benefit. It can be to receive medical treatment or to care for someone, a relative in the United States who is ill and requires care. There are different options about it. Generally, before this situation with Afghanistan and these poor people who have to file, they have no other option but to apply for humanitarian parole. And as John mentioned, already 28,000 of these applications have been filed with the USCIS, and it's only one department there who deals with this kind of stuff. And they're overwhelmed, right? But before all that, usually it would take around 4 months, I would say, to get the humanitarian parole either denied or approved, plus the time for the embassy processing, because a person still needs to go to the embassy in their home country or some like other country, right, to get this like stamp in their passport. It depends. It might be stamp, it might be like piece of paper, right? So like 4 months plus. But now it might take so much more time because USCIS is understaffed and they don't have all the resources just to deal with that many humanitarian parole applications.
So it's not a game changer where you pop it in and you get it. Now you can submit it with USCIS. There's a form for that. If you're at the border, you can make a request at the U.S. border, Mexico or Canada. There's less of those, but it is possible. I've had colleagues do that before. It is just a backup option that we have as a backup of a backup. Because of the delays and because how subjective the adjudication is, they may or may not do it. It's not something I'm very hopeful on and put a lot of weight into it, but sometimes that's all you have and you got to do it.
Yes, and if you're applying for humanitarian parole, definitely seek an attorney help, immigration attorney help, because it has to be extensive evidence has to be provided along with the application in order for it to get approved. So usually it's like medical records, right? It's affidavits from family members, from the person applying, from your citizen. There should be a sponsor too. I call it sponsor, but it's a person in the United States who will sign the I-134 form, saying yes, I'll take care of that, all the financial part. You know, so there are a lot of details about it, but it's a good option, and we would like that more people learn about this option. People who were denied visas, but they still need to go to the United States, and this might work.